that ass back like a boom, 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 boom.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and you're very welcome to the latest edition of the Boil and Talk Sport podcast, which will absolutely become a more regular part of our media output, owing to the fact that I have, albeit belatedly, invested in some voice recording equipment of superior quality to what we had. At this point, I would invite you all to please, when this post is published, please leave your views in the comment section as to whether you would be interested in a Boil and Talk Sport live show either on YouTube or Twitter, or not Twitter, YouTube or Facebook, or whether the recorded stuff will suffice. I would like to get into doing a live show, if at all possible, if people were interested in us going down that route. So any feedback will be greatly received and very welcome. To begin this evening, I should of course say that at the start of the recording I should have said that, as well as being the Boil and Talk Sport podcast, it has its own title, which I had been using on videos, and which I will now resurrect again. It's the Drive-Through Sports Show. I think if you count videos and everything else, this is somewhere in the mid-20s of the number of them we've produced so far. So to begin this evening, I will, unsurprisingly, I suppose given the weekend that's in it, proceed with Gaelic games first of all. And I know, given that it is Meath County final weekend, and that we here in Dunboyne are absolutely blessed to be in the position of having both our senior men's and senior ladies teams in the fixtures in the double header of Pairc Tailteann tomorrow, with the ladies playing a vastly experienced and well-travelled Seneschalstown team in the opening game, and then of course the lads will take on a very talented Wolf Tones team in pursuit of, please God, what will end up being our fourth Keegan Cup triumph. So with all that on the agenda for tomorrow, you may have thought that that is where I would begin this evening's proceedings, but instead I would actually like to go back to last night in Ashbourne. Now, unfortunately, I was unable to attend this fixture due to being obliged to attend a funeral elsewhere, but I cannot tell you how much, and for several reasons, the victory of our Premier Division 6 football team, which in old man's currency was basically the Junior D Championship of old. How much the victory of that particular team would mean both to myself personally and to the present status and indeed future health of our club going forward. And that is due to the fact that within our own club we decided that our fourth team this year was going to be basically a combination of under 18 and under 19 players who had finished up at minor but needed some form of I suppose bridge, you'd say, between underage and top level adult football. But and it was on the recommendation of our former manager Kieran Byrne, and with David Gallagher in charge of the team, actually, that the team was put together. And as Hannibal Smith would have said in the A team, I love it when a plan comes together, because not only have the bunch of lads been held together with a view to what are now under 20 competitions later on in the year. There, from even a more basic point of view, it's keeping lads in football and stopping the drop off of players, which I think, to be fair, is a problem faced by every club, and as a knock-on consequence, every county, that there always is a certain percentage of the playing pool lost when their days at minor are completed. So at least by putting this under 19 bunch together, Gally and Kieran Byrne, who come up with the idea, and I know Gally has other lads involved with him, but I don't know them all, so I'm not going to mention names for fear of leaving somebody out. But the important thing is that number one, the decision to field the team has been vindicated. It's always nice to win a county title, no matter what level it is. There's none of them easily won, and they should all be celebrated, and, to use John Giles' famous phrase, taken on their merits. But I think the real benefit out of this team and out of the win on Friday night in Ashbourne will be seen further down the line, when, please God, these lads mature and develop and can go on to, at the very least, represent the club, or maybe even some of them will hopefully make county material at the highest level. But they've certainly got off to the best starting point possible, not only with the affiliation of that team and its mere existence, but there is no greater growth promoter, if you want to call it that, for a team than actually winning. And momentum is often the most decisive thing in sport, and indeed the hardest thing to generate and to hold on to. So hopefully, last night's victory over a Toad can be yet another building block to another stage in a very bright future for the club. Elsewhere, just quickly on the Gaelic Games front, in Navan today, which again I had originally intended going to, but circumstances beyond my control intervened. You could not but feel for Dunsany, who yet again found themselves coming up agonisingly short in the Junior Football Championship final, yet again going down by a point, this time to a St Vincent's team and club indeed, who are very much on the up and one to look out for, in particular going forward, because they evidently have quite a few very talented young lads coming through, none more so than Conor Harford, whose grandparents actually live here in Dunboyne, so he would be one lad that I would always keep a very close eye on. You know, what can you say to Dunsany? It's nearly like our own hurlers here in Dunboyne, who last lifted the Jubilee Cup in 1914. You say to yourself, how do you in fact keep coming back? But then, if you don't come back, what's the other option? Or there is no other option, only to keep at the wheel and keep going until someday the ball will break in your direction. But I know, and believe me, I've seen enough Dunboyne teams lose finals over the years to know that there is no more lonely place on planet Earth than where both Dunsany and Oldcastle, who were well beaten by Trim in the intermediate final, will be feeling tonight. But you know, a new year is a great thing, and obviously from a personal point of view, it will certainly be something that I can't wait to see coming along after the year we've had this year on a personal level. Now, thanks be to God, from a sporting perspective, thus far it has been an absolutely exceptional year, both for Meath and for the club, and one would hope that there are several chapters in that still to be written, but you know, for Dunsany and for Oldcastle this evening, that will all next year will seem a terrible long way away, but a new year always brings new hope, and being the proud and traditional clubs, battling clubs that they both are, they'll be there again. And you know, if Mayo keep coming back, I think it's a lesson to anyone that you too can keep coming back, and hopefully, you know, there's no such thing as deserving things in sport, I don't think, but sometimes you just need the gods to smile in your direction, rather than thinking of that line that the late great Con Houlihan often trotted out, that whom the gods wish to destroy, they first make mad.